We're live. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a hot second while some people hop on. Hi guys, welcome to the social roundup with Emma Rose. That's me, Jade. You cut off the top of your head there for a second.
No, I'm just making the adjustments appropriate here up in the conference room.
Yeah? Oh, you're in the conference room?
Yep, upstairs.
Okay, so we have our wonderful Jay Pushkar. It is Pushkar, right?
It is.
Okay, so for the longest time, I couldn't remember your name. I am so sorry. I'm so bad with names.
That's all right. I won't hold it against you.
And like the thing is, I should have remembered your name because I interned in Cleveland, and one of my favorite anchors at the place I interned at, his name was Jay, and he loved sports, and he has kind of like the same vibe as you. And so I'm just like, why didn't I remember your name? Because you guys had like the same vibe, same name, interested in sports, and whatnot.
And I gave you a business card too.
And you gave me a business card. So that's on me. Let me pull up this stream on my handy dandy iPad. If anyone can tell me what that's from, kudos to you, and you will become my new best friend. Do you know what the handy dandy iPad is from? Or the handy dandy? Like the handy dandy notebook. Handy dandy notebook. Do you know what that's from?
I'm gonna say Dora the Explorer.
So close, so close. It's another one. You have.
I'm out of the loop. I don't have kids. So
you were a kid. You were a kid once. So it's from Blue's Clues.
Oh, that would have been my second or third pick.
Okay.
Because my niece growing up loved Dora the Explorer and Blue's Clues.
Yeah, Blue's Clues was my fave. I think Blue's Clues is making a comeback, actually. So, I'm not gonna lie, I probably will watch Blue's Clues at some point. So we're gonna be talking about the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. It's a United Nations Day. And so right now we're kind of in a crazy area of life. So sports, how are you handling sports over at Jet? Because I haven't actually seen anything.
I tell you, it's the most common question that I'm getting not only around here in the office building, but just when I'm out walking and seeing my neighbors from afar. You know, they've been asking how we're holding up and what we're doing. And we mentioned that we do flashback segments of teams of the past that have won state or national championships, or at least conference championships, things that have caught the imagination of the city of Erie or Erie County as a whole. And then we just have been doing some personal profiles on certain coaches and athletes as well. And even though there aren't activities going on with wins and losses and stats, there are still some human interest stories out there that myself and Mike Fenner have been able to dig up and spend some time and actually do those. And that's how we've been able to fill the time throughout the last few weeks.
So what are some human interest stories that you guys have been into lately?
Well, the last couple of weeks, because it's hard to believe that we're entering, at least in the sports world, our fourth week of no sports, because everything started to come to an end on a Wednesday of last month. So we're probably about a month removed from having any sort of activities. And so the last couple of weeks, we've done flashbacks of either state championship teams at the high school level or certain institutions celebrating anniversaries. I did a boxing facility that's celebrating 40 years of existence, helping out the city youth and everything. So we did a feature story there. We did a feature story on a gentleman by the name of Joe Orengia, who owns and operates Joe's Gym, and he promotes healthy weightlifting and powerlifting and doing it drug-free. So there's a lot of good stories out there that even the average person that can certainly get involved with once we're able to get back to some normalcy around here. And then just games of the past, teams that have won championships, we've been able to dedicate those moments as well. And then even coming up this week and late last week, we did some stories with athletes that are at the professional or hopefully at the professional ranks, getting ready for either a draft or even spring training and see where their careers will go. So it's just a matter of where we are in the season, but also where we are on just who's available to do a lot of these interviews via Skype or Zoom or even just through FaceTime.
So for those of us who are not really athletically inclined, such as myself, I don't know if you guys can see all the Broadway posters in the background. Jay, I don't think you can. Oh, you can see my Cinderella one.
I see some playbills right there.
Yeah, you can see my Hamilton playbill, my Once on This Island playbill, my Cinderella poster. I am wearing my Cleveland Cavs shirt that I got from the Goodwill. So how can those people who are not necessarily athletically inclined, partake in some more athletics right now, whether it's at home, walking about? How would you say they can partake in these activities?
Well, I tell you what, Emma, I think a lot of people are getting stir crazy right now, just being cooped up in the house. And considering the pandemic that's taking place, we're very fortunate that it's happening this time of year. I've brought up to a lot of people, imagine if this was back in December or January and not be able to go out and get some fresh air. So at least we're getting warmer temperatures. The sun has been out the last 2 weeks around Erie, which is very rare. I've noticed a lot of people, whether they're athletic or not, just going out and going for walks. And so I think that's a great start right there. Not only do they get a chance to maybe explore their neighborhood that they don't normally get to, but just to get out, get the fresh air, get some sunshine, get that cardio going and just go for a walk. And again, keep your distance, but definitely get out there and just be mobile. Go out there, move around, feel good about it, and then maybe start, taking it to the next level. Maybe go for a light jog, and then once you feel that stamina start to kick in, maybe go for a run for a mile, and then just start stretching it out that way. I know a lot of organizations are doing stuff online because, again, we're all cooped up, but there's a lot of things you can do in the house, whether it's doing push-ups, sit-ups, doing chin-ups if you find a strong enough structure. So there's a lot to do from an individual standpoint to at least stay in shape, stay active. But again, listen to what the state and local governments along with federal government officials are telling us to do and keep our distance.
That's something interesting because part of today is, not only about sport and like bringing people together for peace and development, but it's also about being active. And I was talking with someone earlier today and he said, put a lock on your fridge because you'll find more people coming out of this, having gained X many pounds because they've just stayed inside and stayed put and haven't gone out for walks, haven't done, push-ups inside or anything like that. So, it's really about keeping yourself active. I know we talked a little bit about some, human interest stories that you were talking about and some, stories from years gone by, some events from years gone by. But we all have this one big event that we were all looking forward to this year, the 2020 Summer Olympics. And those have been postponed to 2021.
Sure.
So for those of us who are bummed, I myself am bummed, how can we look forward to them in the future? Like, how can we get excited and stay excited for 2021?
I don't think it's going to be hard. I think right now we're just hoping that, we're at the mercy of what this virus is going to do and how we can eventually flatten the curve. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, we can't put a set target date on it. A lot of people are hoping that we can break out of our houses come the end of this month. But, that's a moving target. That could move into mid-May, could be the end of May. So from a sports end of things, it's really hard to try to reschedule a lot of things. This week in particular was supposed to be probably the best week of the spring where we were to crown a national champion in the NCAA basketball tournament. Masters Week was going to start on Thursday with the great tradition down at Augusta. Baseball season would have already been underway at least 2 weeks into the regular season. The NBA and NHL seasons were wrapping up with the playoffs just on the horizon. So this is a really tough moment for a lot of sports fans. But then going back to what you were asking about the 2020 Olympic Games, it's going to be hard because it's going to be pushed back one more year. But I think in fairness for a lot of the athletes, because they can't train, they can't go to their facilities, I think it's great for them that they will have at least another year of that eligibility to compete next year. I understand a lot of those that have qualified for the Olympic Games that were supposed to come up this summer, they don't have to re-qualify. They're already granted the qualifications and everything. So a lot of our favorite athletes that have already qualified and we're looking forward to competing, they can do so come next year. I think really, ultimately, we just want to get back to some normalcy. A lot of people just need to get back to work, first and foremost. A lot of people need to go back to school and start getting that. And then sports is just the great outlet for everybody to have a rooting interest of either team colors or geographical rivalries or whatever it might be, that will slowly come together once again. But, from a society standpoint, we just need to get back to normal first, and then sports will follow. And I tell you what, sports will be a great outlet for a lot of people because it's been tough having to do stories sports related, and it's all cancellations, postponements, moving of schedules, and it's been hard, but I think everyone's still trying to be optimistic about this.
Mm-hmm. I know a couple of weeks ago I spoke with a high school senior, and she plays club volleyball, and her season has been canceled. So my heart is just going out to like all those, high school seniors, college seniors, all of who are athletes, and their seasons have just been cut just right now. But this is our reality, and we have to move forward, and there will be a day when we can come and celebrate sports again, and we can.
Oh, there's no question.
We can
root for the closest thing I could really relate to this, and it's really apples and oranges. I was still a college student at Mercyhurst University back in 2001, and the tragedy of 9/11, and that was something where from a societal standpoint, at least domestically, we paused for about a week to 10 days, but we knew that we could at least put a target date on when, from an emotional standpoint, we were all ready to get back to the athletic end of things, and when to cheer and when to celebrate and when to actually smile again and not have the sense of grieving and loss and sorrow. And right now it's just tough because, again, like I said earlier, it's just such a moving target. We don't know when we can start with, hey, this is day one of being able to congregate again and to celebrate and cheer and smile and high-five one another and be proud and brag about how great our teams are, or try to hide under our shells about how teams that we root for are so bad. That day is coming. We just got to stay positive, and it has been tough talking to coaches around here that, everybody's season never really ended the way they were hoping for. It just, like you said, like a knife, just cut through, and that was it. Season was over. And so to celebrate a great year with an end-of-the-year banquet or have a ceremony to acknowledge a great season for a lot of the athletics, not having that take place, it's awfully difficult. There's really no closure, but everyone has been understanding of the nature of what's going on. It's still not easy, but I tell you what, I've been impressed with how a lot of these programs and coaches and institutions have been handling this, because we're all in the same boat. It's not just the Great Lakes region or the Northeast, it's globally, and everybody understands it.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think we can all look forward to, is that day when we can all come together and root for our favorite football teams, root for our favorite soccer teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, because that day will come, and we just have to keep chugging through, keep our strength up, and stay active, like you said.
Yeah, stay active, and you know what, really, just continue to listen to your public officials, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of how you feel. Just do the right thing, especially if you've got the CDC and people within the medical field telling us as a society to do these certain measures, to just do it. It's simple as that, and the proof is in the pudding, as what we're seeing over in Asia and Europe now, that if we just do what we're supposed to, we'll get ahead of this, and we'll certainly get back to some normalcy, but that's the start. Listen to what we need to do right, and then if you have that capability of going out, getting that exercise, getting that fresh air, go for a bike ride, then certainly do that too.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can all do this by the beginning of football season.
Well, a lot of the things that have been moved from spring and maybe even early summer, they have now targeted as mid to late fall as new target dates for a lot of events. NFL is still hoping that their season will start on time. The PGA Tour, even today, just announced the rescheduling of 3 of the 4 majors in golf. And right now, the Masters, which I said earlier was supposed to start this week, they've got it lined up for November. So that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to have a tournament traditionally that kicks off the start of spring from a sporting standpoint. Now we're going to have it around Thanksgiving time. So that'll be pretty neat. But we are seeing a lot of these organizations possibly target the end of the year for a lot of these things, and keep our fingers crossed that happens, because we as sports fans and just the general public want to see these activities and these events take place, because whether you follow the sport or not, there's some great human interest stories, and there's a lot of emotion that gets associated with it, especially when you see athletes winning for the first time, and the tears and the heartache of what it took to get there. That's what we miss the most.
Mm-hmm. And most of all, perseverance, resilience.
Yes.
Jay, thank you so much for joining me. I'm actually going to look at you right now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Get some more awesome interest stories. And we will be hearing from sports from you hopefully really soon. So thank you.
Hopefully wins and losses and scoreboard full pages and stuff are coming soon. But in the meantime, we'll just keep thinking outside the box and reach out to those that we can share their stories and let everybody else know about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. Have a good one.
You bet.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So that was Jay Pushkar. He is a wonderful human being. And like I said, today is the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. It is a UN holiday, day of recognition. I'm not quite sure the terminology. So coming up right now, we're going to teach you how to do your DIY no-sew face mask. I don't have a sewing machine. I know how to sew, but like I said, I don't have a sewing machine. So if you have a bandana, a scarf, a hand towel like I have right now, it's not going to be something you're going to want to wear to like your fancy dress party or anything, or up and down the catwalk in Paris or New York or anytime soon. But with the new CDC guidelines and information, this is something that is recommended that you wear whenever you go out. So if you don't have a face mask, you don't have a sewing machine, or you don't know how to sew, this is great in a pinch. So you have your towel or your bandana or whatever. You fold the top down about a third once, and then you fold the bottom up about a third once. You flip the entire thing over. If we were at my table, this would be a lot easier than just doing it on my lap. And then you do the same thing over again. You fold the top down about a third. You fold the bottom up about a third. But then you go, now Emma, how the heck are we supposed to attach this to our face? Well, if you're like pretty much any modern woman or girl, you probably have hair ties on your wrists like I do. You need 2 hair ties or 2 rubber bands, 2 elastics, really anything that can just become a little circle like that. So you put one of the elastics around one of the ends, like so, and then you put the other elastic around the other end, like so. You fold it in, and then you fold the 2 ends, the 2 extra ends, in. And you might be able to tuck one of the extra ends into the other extra end. Doesn't look like I might be able to do that. So you can pull the elastic to make sure you have enough room. I don't know how well this is going to stay on my ears because I have really tiny ears, like tiny baby ears. So let's see how this works. Et voila. Oh gosh. Look. I probably have lipstick all over my face right now, but you know, it works. It comes handy in a pinch. And like I said, the CDC does recommend that you wear this whenever you go out. And who doesn't like doing a little bit of arts and crafts? We might be doing some of those real soon here on the Social Roundup with Emma Rose. Oh, Star's watching. Hi, Star. I'm just looking at the comments right now. So, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can email me at elewis@wjettv.com. You can find me on social media at Emma_Rose_Lewis. And make sure to tune in to the Social Roundup with Emma Rose. That's me. Here on Facebook, Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. We are live. Tomorrow we have a very special guest because it's a very special week. And Friday, 2 p.m. at 2 p.m. on Instagram. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please send pictures of your DIY no-sew face masks to me. Tag us on Instagram so we can share them on social media and see how you guys are doing, your DIY face masks. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. So, bye.